Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. Hey, hey. She's been pretty cool today. Let's see if she stays cool. It looks like she's starting to get kind of excited. Um, yeah, right. So, what I want to do today, yesterday we got the tests working, the unit tests and the end-to-end tests. And so, what I'd like to do today is start to try to split out some of this code into services. And it's mentally a bit challenging because one thing is Red has decided to try to take over the show, but also like this stuff is just super like deeply coupled in a very non TypeScript friendly way. So I'm wondering. My first question is do do we have to set the animation? Like if I were to comment this out, right? And then I just did this. Will it render? I don't even know. Like if I just move this thing into its own little. Yeah, so it does. It renders a single one. And then each renderer would have its own um, animation function. And then within itself, it calls itself, which is a little weird. And it's using some like a closure to sort of make sure it has a reference to itself, and that's going to be tough to emulate. So like, because what I would really like to do is separate all this animation stuff into its own little world. Um, yeah, so basically this stuff, I would love for it to be in its own world, but then, and then this sort of call. Um, so let's see, can I also, okay, so that was a first experiment. Now, our next experiment is, can I say, like, hmm, see, I said it, and then what I don't know is, like, okay, so has a reference to itself. So, like, if I'm trying to figure out, like, how to do the scoping, basically. Right, so this renderer, so I think the first thing is inside of our package.json, we'll add another, we'll add a function, a script to create the uh, basically we want to create a new service, right? So, and we want to create a service in a folder called services that is probably a sibling to the app. So, and this service is going to be the rendering service. Okay, so uh, NGRS for rendering service. And it's going to say NG, and I cannot remember. Uh, let's go to ChatGPT and ask. There's also help. We could just get help, but how do you generate a service in Angular? ng generate, and I believe we can just have a G and an S, and then services, and then 3. I'm not 100% sure I want to put it in its own, but for now, that's what I'm going to do. Um, what's hard is like, I think I'm 99% sure, actually, I'm 100% sure we'll want to have more than one renderer. So this thing's just going to generate the renderer and return it. Um, yeah, so yeah, this is for now. It's a bit weird in my head. I can't quite picture exactly what I want. Run. Okay, so but I do know I want a folder to be next. I'm pretty sure I want it to be next to app, and it's going to have a directory, and it's going to be a directory called services. It'll have another directory in it called 3, and then a service called renderer. So ngrs. This all made so much sense when I was thinking about it, and now it's just kind of like, don't know. Oh, so put it inside of app services. I guess that makes sense. Okay, we'll go with that for now, since that seems to be the default, and it created a nice little spec file for us and renderer service. So I guess just for now, in the hopes of things kind of getting clearer as we move forward, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my app component and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to create a function over here called getRenderer. And basically it's going to return a renderer. A 3GL renderer. I think I can just do this. And basically all it's going to do is, so I think this should be able to offer it. Now, so it looks like I need to go into my app component and just do this import. If all goes right, we won't, well, no, 100%. By the time we're done with this, we will not be importing 3 into the app anymore, I'm pretty sure. And then basically we're going to copy this code. And this is like you really hopefully don't do this at work, right? Like your whole point of kind of doing your own side stuff is to get expertise in the stuff that they need from work. Okay, so now I want to use my renderer service in this app. And obviously we won't be doing any of this. This won't stay, but render, no, render service is equal to render service. Hit the Alt and back to get back here. Or it's a kind of render service, and we use the inject render service here. And we have our blue thing here that will say, hey, yeah, I want to import that. And we have this thing. And yeah, we definitely want the one for core. We do not want the one from testing. So basically we're service inject. And then we're going to create a high level, a component, render, a component attribute, and it's going to be render service dot get render. And I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. It seems like it should. Let's see if anything breaks in the compilation process. I believe these things do happen before the construction, but we're about to find out about that. Okay, so theoretically we don't need this line anymore, and we should be say this dot render, this dot render, this dot render, and this dot render will flick back. Oh, so he cannot see. See, we have this has changed because we did that. So I think we might be able to do so I don't. Let's see. Let's see. How do you set up? Function. I think these are the official way to refer to these as a lambda. It's an arrow function. Okay. Okay. So we want to say the function name is equal to this. So animate is equal to. Cannot find name animate. Let's see, const. And then since we did it this way, it has to come before, since it's declared like that. So you don't get hoisting in this situation. So I think we have to go like this. So otherwise, the way it was before, it got hoisted, but it wasn't a arrow function. And the thing about arrow functions is arrow functions create their own this object. So that means that they no longer can see the this of its parent. So obviously we are not moving in a direction that this is not like by any means, shape, or form the final code. We're just sort of moving, brainstorming, I guess would be the best way to put it. All right, so I'm going to hit save and we'll see if this works. It wouldn't surprise me if it works, but it also wouldn't particularly surprise me if it doesn't work. And I don't know, it just, okay. I don't know. I don't know if I trust that it rebuilt it. It's taking it a while to build it. Yeah, it seems to still work, and I guess that makes sense. So just to be clear, basically we created an animate function, and it is wild that it knows what mesh is, even though like the function got declared, but then I guess it doesn't get used until after the here. So it is weird, but it works. Now the big question is, okay, one, I think that I don't think we will broken any unit tests. We do have new unit tests, and I do not think that the we'll have 100%. Um, we oh shit, we probably will have 100% coverage, but it's like a lie. It's a filthy lie. And I'll explain why in a second. I do not think this will have any effect on the end, and it shouldn't have any effect on the end-to-end test. But I do think this is a good time to check it out. So basically, let's go with npm run test. And I think we're going to see that, like basically having this testing, especially early on, is going to dramatically slow things down. Now, if I do this right, and, so this is an and, not an or, and the theory of as the application starts to grow larger, things get faster. Um, what'll happen is, I don't know if you remember, if you've watched the old videos when we built the old application out, but what had happened was like things that I thought were only going to take a very short amount of time ended up taking months. Um, and the theory is that that will no longer be the case. Okay, so all of our things and passed. We're back up to 3. Um, so that's good. And I think we did get the coverage. And see, it's still showing 100% coverage. And I don't think that it, I don't know. Now I'm having second thoughts, and I'll explain why. So I was thinking that it really wasn't like a true 100% coverage because, see, I should just drag it over. I don't need to do that because it's showing that this got ran, but it didn't. Um, we don't actually have a unit test that calls get renderer, right? Like if we go to the rendering spec, we don't have anything that checks to see that this function works. The only reason we know it works is because um, is because the only reason we know it works is because it got called when the when when the let's go back to here, when the app got executed. It did a, over here we call it, and so that's the only reason we have the coverage there, but we don't actually have any kind of actual test on that, so like, is it, I don't know. I have mixed feelings now. At first I was just like, absolutely not, this is not covered, this guy isn't covered. But like, I guess maybe it is covered because like we don't actually want to test 3. We're assuming that 3 did all their own testing in here, and all we really want to test is that this thing works. And I guess we are testing that this thing works. I mean, we could write another function in here that says renderer returns valid object or something like that, but like that doesn't really do anything more than the other one, um, particularly since in the other test, um, we actually use our renderer to do stuff. So yeah, I guess it does cover. I thought it didn't. I don't know. This is one of these things that like a lot of times when you work in places, um, people will just argue about for days. These are just endless arguments. They just go on and on about whether you're truly testing things and stuff like that, and it's always quite the drama. So I don't know. Okay, so now I don't know. for it. I don't know. I guess that's why I do this stuff. So let's see. And I do think that I am going to save all my packages, my package updates with these creations, just so that these create scripts, because it was kind of nice. It's kind of nice in one of my other ones where I do it because I just have examples to go back to. I don't have to go to ChatGPT and say, "Oh, how do you do this?" Because I have one in there. So I think I'll probably save them all. Um, so now let's run Cypress. I can't imagine Cypress breaking with that test. And really, honestly, the biggest reason I'm running these tests is just because it's a Cypress is totally new to me. So if something does break, I want to know. I want to know it immediately so that I can learn what breaks it. I don't want to be like, I've made a whole bunch of stuff, I'm ready to commit, I run my tests, and then figure out that something broke. So let's do this. Start e-testing in Chrome. Yeah, so, oh wait, it didn't run it yet. I guess I have to click on it to run it. All right, so that is big pimpin'. I swear, I don't know, if you've watched the other video, like if you went through that other um, series that I went to, it is so darn obvious that this is not a smooth animation, that it is jaggedy. And the reason it's jaggedy is because the time that that runs, since we just run it, is not consistent. So like the amount we change it is consistent, but the amount of time between steps is not consistent. So anyways, that was coolio. And then let me close this up. I think we are good to go. Yeah, so I did technically move this rendering into its own, creating the rendering into its own service. I didn't really achieve the spirit of what I want to do. I definitely want this animation to be like totally separate from the uh, from the man, I just don't even know how we're going to do it. But I would love this animation code to be completely separate from, and be completely decoupled. Or it would be nice if it was even unaware of the renderer, but it looks like it has to be. And I just wish, like, I guess we should do this. Okay, so since, okay. I just don't know what to do. So it seems like we're going to need, in our animation service, we're going to need a list of renderers. And then we're going to need like a list of animation functions, or we'll have to have an animation function that knows how to get, that knows the context of what it's trying to update. So if I have, yeah, so they all get the same animation function, not the same instance of the animation function, just a copy of the animation function. And then that animation function knows how to look in the renderer or in the animation service to find out what things need to be updated. Um, so it is kind of a little weird that it, well, I guess it's not, but it is a little awkward that it knows what the mesh is. Um, but I guess the mesh, mesh doesn't exist yet, but it does exist once in real time, once it's been executed, because it gets executed down here. Um, I don't know. Let's just do this. So then inspect. And look at our console log. So, okay, so this does know. Oh, that's because it's the renderer. Um, so, and we named it renderer. Um, yeah, this is gonna be tricky. It's gonna be really, really tricky because this is sort of a mechanism that is very unusual in TypeScript, but was absolutely the bread and butter of JavaScript. Um, this sort of passing, currying a function into something else is just something like this. So this is called currying, and you rarely ever do that. So set animation loop just takes a callback. It called every available frame. If null is passed, it will stop any already ongoing animation. So like the callback is part of the renderer, but like my rendering is complex, or my animation is complex, so I don't want that all just like shoved into this code here. I want this to be handled in a more organized way. So yeah, this is the fun and hard part of software development. I'm definitely excited about it. We are definitely 27 minutes in, so I think that is a C. So happy coding, everybody. What what was that, Rhett? Yeah, yeah. We love you. Have a great day, guys. Everybody. Bye.